What is up, everybody? Mark on the mic, and welcome back to another fall hunt recap. I have my good friend and co-worker, and also the person I went on my first bass angling tournament with this summer, Maggie, Miss Maggie Carsello.
Who would have thought I'd end up here, huh? Not me.
I had all the confidence in the world. Maggie, I was just coming off of an absolutely incredible trip to the Scottish Highlands, which if you listen to, I think maybe, it'll be a recent fall hunt recap where he interviewed me and we chatted about that. And I was riding that high. You popped in the office and you had a story of your own over the weekend. You shot a big buck.
I did. That was kind of a core memory for me. You coming back to the office Monday on a high, showing everyone your pictures and whatnot, and someone slips a congrats to me, and you go, "Oh, Maggie, what happened? What happened?"
I haven't seen you in a week, and I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you obviously have a story of your own to tell.
I have to be honest. I think Eric's a little mad at me because I didn't necessarily tell anyone. My phone doesn't really work great where we hunt, and it was a Sunday night, a school night, and I had some work to do, so we just kind of got after it, and I posted on my Instagram story. So that's kind of how the people that knew, that's how they knew. But I kind of kept it close to my chest until I came in Monday. But that's what's so cool about working here. Like, it crossed my mind, like, do I take tomorrow off? Like, I'm tired. It's been a late night. No. Coming back to work at Vortex Optics is incredible the day after you shoot a buck. Like, the little community here and how happy everyone is for you and telling the story more than you work that day, probably, if I'm being honest. It's something special.
Well, it's exciting. Everybody's into it. And then I would add to that, particularly on a Monday, because this time of year, generally everybody's doing something over the weekend. And like you said, that first hour of the day is definitely a catch up, a report, And even if you didn't get something, everybody's done something. What'd you see? Oh, I saw this, and whatever. It's just it's a really exciting time of year. So, well, you shot this deer the other day, but the shooting of this deer certainly wasn't a day in the making. So I want you to tell us about the property that you hunt. Some of the work that you've put into it, stuff that you've seen along the way, maybe including this buck. I don't even know. So, I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, well, I got to start off by saying I feel incredibly thankful and privileged that I get to hunt on a really great chunk of land. It's been passed down in my boyfriend's family. They allow me to hunt. I'm so thankful for that. It is some great deer hunting.
They might not continue to let you to hunt if you keep knocking down the big ones every year.
Well, they're so used to shoot it. I don't think they would have shot that one. That's not big for them.
Well, whatever. Nice one to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'd be like, good, more for me.
Yeah, right. So I feel incredibly thankful for that, and it's been really fun for me to get a little more into like the management side of things, and working in the summer to plant your food plots and put out water for them and get your cell cams up. It's been really fun for me to get more involved on that side, and just really rewarding to watch your food plots grow up, watch the deer start to come in, get pictures, start to recognize deer, from year after year, just coming out of velvet, how they grow. So that has been really, really fun for me. And there's a specific food plot that I love sitting at. They actually give me a hard time. They're like, spread your wings a little bit, go somewhere else.
You're like, it's not broke.
It ain't broke. But I really love that spot. It's been good to me. And last year I was set on shooting a deer, not at that spot. I sat everywhere else, and I sat there once, and I got my buck last year. It's just my spot. I don't know what the deal is. But so that specific food plot, we started getting pictures of this nice buck, nice 8-pointer. And if I'm being fully transparent, at first we were like, that's a nice one. He'll be nice next year or whatever. And he would have been, don't get me wrong. Whoops. But the more we got pictures of him and ordered videos and whatnot, like he's a nice deer, and he kind of had a bigger belly, kind of a sway back, and it's like, I think he's older than we think he is. And all of a sudden I noticed, like, look at those brow tines, and kind of talked myself into it. I'm like, that deer, after showing you guys pictures of him here at the office, we all kind of agreed, that's a dandy. That's bigger than you think it is. So that became my target buck pretty quick.
Well, yeah, he's big deer antler wise, but also body wise, he's definitely a mature deer. And the fact that you're like, talk myself into it. I'd be like that. I looked at that thing one time. I was like, I have like pretty much a yes, no button, and it was firmly in the yes category.
Yeah. Well, again, keeping in mind that that land isn't necessarily mine, so I try to be really respectful of them and their rules, and our kind of rule is,
and your overall management objective, like what you're trying to accomplish. And so I certainly get that.
Like I mentioned, they're used to holding out and shooting bigger deer. And my personal philosophy is, I'm so sick of the stigma that social media has created. Like, if you see a deer that gets your blood pumping and you're going to be proud of that thing, you're hunting for meat, whatever, absolutely do it. You're never going to make everyone happy, so make yourself happy. Like, go for it. But
100%. And I would say, like, everything is contextual as well. Like, if you're, from state to state, public to private, how much time you have. I mean, all these things factor in. So, I mean, I 100% agree. It's like, it's so individual of like what is meaningful or exciting or what you're trying to get out of the hunt. And at the end of the day, it's your hunt.
Exactly.
So.
Right. But our rule there is maybe just don't shoot something smaller than what you have shot. So that was kind of seeing the pictures, and once we got more, I realized, okay, that's absolutely bigger than any deer I've shot. But that's my kind of thing, is try to work towards shooting older, bigger deer. So that was the hesitation, Marco.
Gotcha.
To clear that up.
Gotcha. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about this year and maybe some of the work that you put into the place, any improvements that you made, and then when you maybe started seeing this deer.
Yeah. I should have done some research on when he first showed up, but I mean, he has been in there every day, I swear. And not every day. Sometimes he'd take a couple days off, but you kind of seemed to know he was coming back. Sometimes he'd be in there 2-3 times a day, and all times a day, sometimes at night. But I mean, he was daylighting and on some sort of pattern. Like, that was on his route for the day. I don't know if he was living close, bedding close. I couldn't tell you, but I knew if I wanted to get that buck, that was where to sit. That, like I said, we're pretty busy during the summer fishing tournaments, so we don't have a ton of time to get up to the land. But when we do, we try our best to get our food plots planted. We've started to put water tubs out. We have a mock scrape in that food plot as well, so he'd come in, hit that, get a drink of water.
Is that where your camera was then, or one of your cameras?
So it was. But we've come to learn that the water tubs also really attract raccoons, and you get a lot of pictures of those. So we wound up moving it closer to the blind where I hunt on that food plot. There's not a great tree on that food plot for a stand. As you know, I'm personally not a big saddle gal. So ground blind it is. And I feel like the ground blind gets a lot of hate, but I like it. I could spread out all my snacks, have my bow sitting on my bow legs, and I like it.
Hey.
There's downfalls being at eye level with the deer, absolutely. But to a certain extent, you can get away with a little more movement at the same time, I think. So.
Mm-hmm. So how many times did you get a chance to sit this year then?
This was only my third sit.
Perfection.
I feel kind of bad. I feel like I didn't work hard enough to earn it. But I mean, the more I looked back on it, I'm like, this makes up for the years you don't get one. I hate to admit this, but the very first deer I shot at with my bow was a nice buck, and I thought I made a great shot, and it happens. I still kick myself for it, but we never recovered him. So, or the years you sit all season, get one late season, like it all kind of evens out. So,
or sit all season and don't get one.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, let's walk me through the day, because it sounds like this wasn't your original plan to hunt.
No. So again, it's we're getting into fall here in Wisconsin. We're pretty well into it, but my bass tournaments go into fall, and I haven't had a chance to sit a lot. So I'm getting these pictures of this buck, and I'm wanting to go sit. But first of all, it has been insanely hot. I don't like bugs, so I don't love that part. But I have tournaments. It's hard for me to get out and sit. And at the same time, I'm worrying, like, we have him so patterned right now. Like, when is that going to change? Like, once rut activity picks up, once temps drop, is that going to change? I don't know.
Well, and I'm thinking about that with the weather that we're having, like specifically today, just a couple days later, very different.
I know.
Very different.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I was nervous about that, but I genuinely, I couldn't really find the time to sit. We also if I'm not busy enough, we thought it was a good idea, as you know, to get a puppy. So like that's taken some of our time. We've been trying to get her trained up for bird hunting, and we've had a lot on our plates. So I sat once, I think it was a couple weeks ago, was my first sit. Didn't see a single deer. So of course that buck's coming in almost every day, and I'm like, no, I sit and he doesn't come in. But there's been days he's taken off, like I said, but he always comes back, it seems. So didn't see a single deer my first sit. Saturday, this past weekend, I sat, didn't see a single deer. We packed up all of our hunting stuff, brought it home because we had a bass club tournament the next day, Sunday morning. Go to bed, set the alarms, wake up, not to the alarms. We slept right through them. We have never done that. Like, we have never missed a tournament because we slept in. I don't know what happened. Totally missed it. And Andrew, my boyfriend, is actually the tournament director for our bass club. So missing the tournament isn't a huge deal, but he's the one that runs the scales and runs the weigh-in and all that. So he had to go at 3:00 was weigh-in time. So he had to go. And I was like, well, I don't have to go. And I'm just like, how do I make the most of this day that feels kind of wasted at this point? So I was like, that buck hasn't been here in a couple of days. Maybe it's time he's going to come back. So I'm going hunting. So Andrew took our pup, went and worked the weigh-in. I got out in the blind at about 2 something. And my dad, not to get in the weeds here, but we're really close. Everyone always,
he is. You tell so many stories. I'm like, he is your biggest fan.
He is my biggest fan. He's the one that introduced me to hunting and fishing, got me into this stuff, and he just couldn't be more proud of me and love following along with everything that I do. Thinks it's the coolest thing ever that I work here.
It's pretty cool.
Shoots me a little text. I like this hat I see on the website. Okay, Dad.
Well, I mean, you're like, thinks it's so cool that you work here, but I do have to take a step back sometimes, just like you're talking about, Monday, and everybody's coming in with their stories and the energy, the excitement. We're all passionate about the same things, sharing what you saw. And like you take a step back and you're like, wow, we really are fortunate. Not every workplace is like that. No. I mean, heck, this is a story from many years ago, but I knew a guy that worked at it was for a ski brand. And he, at his desk, his personal desk, he had a picture of himself with a deer, and he was asked to take it down.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, like, we're really lucky here.
Absolutely.
It's hard to find a desk here that doesn't have a set of horns on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really don't think there's a day I take it for granted working here in the culture that we have. It's something special. But this might sound like a lot to some people, but I love it. My dad texts me almost every weekend, if not Saturday and Sunday. So what are you doing today? And I let him know I'm out hunting, going to try to get that deer. He's very aware of the deer that I've been seeing and that I've set my eyes on. And I could show you this text. I said, I just have this weird feeling like we've never not woken up for a tournament before. I'm such a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I think that buck might be coming in tonight.
Maggie, I got chills right now.
I truly, I said that to him. So when I got to call him after, that was special. But I told him that I have this feeling. I think it happened for a reason. And I'm sitting, like I said, I got out at 2 something, and hours are going by. I'm not seeing anything. Getting into the blind, you know how dry, maybe not after the rain today, but how dry and crispy all these leaves are. It's so loud. So no sneaking in for me. But every squirrel or even little songbird that's hopping around in the leaves sounds like an elephant. Like, it's just nuts. And Andrew's working the tournament. He's on his way back, and I can actually hear him driving up the gravel driveway that he got back, and he had shot me a text, how's it going, seeing anything? And I'm texting him back. And, of course, what I get for texting, I look up, and a little 8-pointer snuck in. Like, he is right in front of me. I'm like, how do you not make a single peep?
How do they do it?
I don't know. A squirrel this big sounds, like I said, like an elephant, and that little buck snuck right up on me. But that was enough to get my blood pumping. I was like, I finally saw my first deer of the season. And Andrew hasn't sat yet, and he's seen more deer than I have from back at the cabin, like running across the fields and stuff. I'm like, come on. So that got my blood pumping. I was honestly at that point, it sounds cheesy, but just thankful to be out there. I had a close encounter with a deer. He was a really, I'm such a girl, but he was cute, like just this cute little 8-pointer, and he was fun to watch. He came in, got to see him pull up a bunch of the stuff in the food plot, which again is just rewarding. It's cool.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I
when you
put that
plant
there, and he's like benefiting from it. Yeah.
So he's nibbling on that, and he just kind of the food plot I hunt on is kind of long, like oval shape. So he just kind of worked his way in, nibbled, hit the water tub, got a drink, and headed out. Like he was just honestly, it was he was in and out quick. So that got me excited, and it was fun. I got a little video of him, and now I'm sitting, I'm looking, I'm like, well, maybe it means they're moving. The classic, oh, the bucks are on their feet. So I learned my lesson there. I'm on high alert now because he snuck up on me. And shortly after that, honestly, if not 15, 20 minutes after that, to my left, I feel like I kind of have to paint a picture of my setup here. But like I said, it's a longer food plot. It's all surrounded by woods. And that blind that we have is tucked back into the wood line. And we have it really kind of brushed in with a bunch of, the trees that are growing. But then there's like bushes and just a bunch of leaves still up on the limbs, of course. So I'm tucked in there pretty good. And to my left here in the woods, I just hear a bunch of ruckus. So like we just said, that deer, they can be so quiet. It snuck up on me. So I'm like, God, these squirrels, like, what the heck? Be quiet. They can't hear anything. And I'm listening. And then all of a sudden, you know how sometimes when a buck is working through the woods, you can hear it, like, it sounds like their antlers kind of hit a branch. Like, it's just a different sound. I swore I heard that. So now you really kind of have my attention. And then I hear a stick break. I'm like, that ain't no squirrel. So I, like, really kind of reached to peek out my window on the blind, and through all of that brush that I was talking about, I can just kind of see his rack, and his head's down, and I couldn't see him overly well, but I just knew. I'm like, that is him. So it's probably 6:15, 6:20 at this point, and there's still a ton of legal daylight left. It's bright outside, out in the food plot, but I'm tucked back in the woods in a blind, so I'm losing light in my blind. And my bow is new to me since this spring, so I've, of course, been shooting it and working with it, but this is my first season hunting with it, and I use a wrist release, so I know it's him, he's coming, and I'm keeping my eyes on him, and I'm trying to clip my release onto my D-loop, and I swear, just that muscle memory, I feel like you become one with your bow. My old bow I was so confident with, and I didn't notice until I was in this situation, but I think the string of this D-loop is a little different than my other one. It just seemed like my other D-loop had a little more, like, held its structure better, was a little thicker. A little
more rigid.
Yeah. So I was just having a heck of a time trying to clip without looking, trying to clip my release on it. I don't know what my deal was.
Some of that could be that you had a big buck in bow range.
This might have been why.
Yeah, the damn the
damn string.
It's that string again.
Meanwhile, I think I was the problem probably. But so eventually I'm just like, I kind of almost started to not panic, but I had to take my eyes off the deer too. Again, I'm losing light, so I kind of just had to use my other hand to like feel where it was and get it on there. And then once I did that, I looked back over at him, and he had worked somewhat out into the food plot, and just like this, I don't know what he was doing, but he just decided, like, I don't know if, I feel like we don't have a ton of rut activity going on by any means yet, but to me, have you ever seen bucks kind of pop out and like scan for does, and then they're like, oh, no, and went back? It kind of seems like that's what he did. I don't know what he was looking for, but he came in and just decided, I'm out, and head back to the woods. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to act like I've worked my butt off. This is my third sit, but it's just so exciting when you think you're going to get this opportunity. And I made this my target buck, and I finally see him just for that, for him to go back. But it's crazy how many thoughts can go through your head in just a matter of seconds, because I'm sitting there thinking, well, I saw him. Like, I'm thankful. Hopefully he comes back. Like, it's pretty cool that I got to at least see him on his feed and whatnot. But I still had my bow on my knee with my release on, and I'm trying to watch and listen. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not seeing them. But I kind of was hanging tight, and then I just hear little small noises, and I'm like, I think he's still hanging out right on the edge there. I'm not sure. So again, it's like this buck has these little switches in his head. Just all of a sudden, he was like, nah, I actually am going to go out into the food plot. And he just starts trucking. Like, not running, not trotting, but about as fast as he could walk without trotting. He starts going, but I still have that brush in between us, all the leaves that are still on the branches there, and I can see him going. And I I just figured this seems as good a time as any to draw. So as that's in between us, I drew back, and I mean, he is cooking. Like I swear I was moving just as quick with him. And I have 3 windows in the blind, and he's in my left one at that point. For all I know, he was going to go get a drink, and I could have had a shot, at one of the other windows. But he walks into my shot window out of that left window, and I said, I've sometimes I'm nervous to stop a buck, like give him the little meh, because I feel like that they're kind of alert then, and can kind of jump your
tense
string
up,
a little
become
bit.
alert,
Yeah, but with how quick he was moving, I had to. So I gave him the little meh, let it fly, and it sounded so good. And I had lighted knocks on, so I got to watch it. But the last I remember seeing it, I'm like, that was maybe a little farther back than I would have liked to be. But I mean, it was in that zone. So I was like, I feel good. But the story I told about my first buck, I've experienced heartbreak before. I hate to say it, but like I didn't want to let myself get too excited. So I am shaking. I mean, I've had buck fever, boy. I've had bass fever for heck's sake. But I was shaking. I dropped to my knees to look out the window of the blind as much as I could and listen. I watched where he went into the woods, and I'm listening. And I swore I heard him crash, but I didn't know for sure. Texted my dad, texted Andrew, let them know I got a shot at him. Hung out there for a while, probably, 45 minutes in the blind. But again, I'm terrified of spiders, and it was getting dark, and I was ready to get out of there. So I snuck out, went back down to the shed to regroup with Andrew and his dad, and told the story, take some layers off, because I hopefully was going to be dragging a buck out. Probably gave him another hour or so. Went back up to the food plot, found my arrow right away, got a clean pass through, and it was just coated, like just painted in blood. But it was pretty bright, but not like that bright, but it was a little dark. So right away we're thinking liver, maybe, because I had told them I think I was a little farther back than I wanted to be. And we start following the blood. It's good, a lot of blood.
Okay.
But then what really started scaring me was it kind of seemed like there was like chewed up corn in some of the blood. And I'm like, did I get this thing in the guts? Oh my gosh, I didn't think it was that far back. What in the world? So I'm starting to, like, my hopes are going down pretty quick here. I started to get nervous, but I mean, the farther we went, the more and more blood. And where I hunt in that food plot, the neighbor's fence is pretty darn close there. We've actually, my first buck, we had to get permission from them to track on their property. So he's working that way again. It was like I had deja vu. I think that's where those bad feelings were coming from. But just, it's more and more blood, really good blood on both sides of trees, because I got that clean pass through.
Yeah.
That was great. But the corn thing, I didn't like that. So we keep going, and then, of course, it goes over the fence line. So once again, my heart drops, and I'm like, what if they don't answer? What if they're mad at me for the first time that I had to go over there? I don't know. But we call. Jenna, if you're listening to this, I want to give her a shout out. She's so sweet. I think she's close to my age, and she's a bad to the bone hunter as well. Like she's really cool, and she just right away was like, "Oh, of course, good luck. I hope you guys find it. No one's out hunting. Oh, it was dark, but no one's out hunting. Like, absolutely go for it."
We got 3 guys out there right now, so if you could wait.
No. So we got permission. We went over the fence, and that fence is probably 30 yards, 30, 40 yards from where I shot the deer. So he had gone that far already. We go over the fence, and it kind of drops down. So that's why we couldn't see him from the fence, but he went like 40 yards past the fence, and we found him.
So awesome.
So
it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, but of course that hill, we had to drag him up. But he was a big-bodied son of a gun. That I was hurting. But we found him. The emotions, just the relief and the joy, and I was so happy. So we found him. When you get to finally see him up close and put your hands on him, I was like, yeah, this is a nice buck. Definitely, I think the biggest buck I've harvested yet. So we drug him out of there, took him down by the shed, got some pictures, and then once we did gut him, I got both lungs, and I clipped the liver, like literally just one side, the corner of it. So that's where I think that little bit darker blood came from.
Could be, yeah.
And then I got the diaphragm as well. So I'm no deer biologist, but from what people have told me, I think that's kind of where some of that food could have come from. I don't know if it can hang out there or come up. I don't know. But
or maybe it was even in his. I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, it was. He was by the food plot. I mean, there's a ton of fields around, so obviously that's where he's getting corn. I didn't have corn out, folks, but watch it. But I don't know. It was odd, but that made me so relieved. So I was just a little farther back than I would have liked, but I mean, still a good shot. He didn't go far, and we found him. And I called my mom on our way home because my dad had gone to bed. He goes to bed pretty early for work. But she goes, "Oh, Dad has been glued to his phone. He was so happy for you. He kept asking me if I said a prayer for you that you'd find it and stuff." So then I got to talk to him the next morning. I woke up early so I could catch him before work because I couldn't wait to tell him the story. But it was just incredible. I feel like this was my first experience with like choosing a target buck and being able to watch him for so long and actually, like closing the story on it and getting him. It was really special.
That is so cool, Maggie. Well, I mean, I'm super pumped for you as well. I mean, awesome buck, awesome story. Pretty early in the season.
I know.
You might have some time on your hands now.
I want to say I'm sad about it just because it's so fun to hunt like during peak rut activity and, once it's a little crispier outside and the colors are changing. But I'm not upset about how it happened. One, I got a fantastic buck. I didn't have to sit a ton. And like I said, with our puppy, we want to get her out bird hunting. And there's some good fall fishing ahead, too. So I got some other stuff on my to-do list.
I mean, that's what's so cool is it really, to me, it's like you got everything out of that hunt that you really would ever want to get out of it, right? Like all the things, the work and this and then it finally comes together. I mean, when it comes together, it comes together. And honestly, that's how it comes together, and that's how it's meant to be. And sometimes you get them early in the season. Sometimes you get them late in the season. And like we said earlier, sometimes you don't get them at all. So, and like you said, the other cool thing is like some stuff, and this is what I've been thinking about lately, is like, I know I won't focus less on deer. But there's other stuff. There's so many things going on right now, and so it really opens up the door to take advantage of other outdoor opportunities that sometimes you don't get to because you're, concentrating on deer.
So, yeah. I can't express how grateful I'm feeling. It's Wednesday now, 3 days later, and I'm still on cloud nine. Like I'm just thinking about it, looking at pictures and videos, and oh man, I'm just so thankful. And I drew a bobcat tag this year too, so now I can focus on that a little bit.
I have one as well.
I know. Bobcat brothers.
I know. Let's go.
I know.
Maybe we'll have a bobcat story
I hope
here.
so. One of us has to. Come on. But yeah, I don't know if I've wrapped my head around it yet.
No way. You'll be soaking this in for the next year. You know what I mean?
I'm over the moon.
So awesome. Well, thank you, Maggie, for sharing your story. Congrats again. Thanks to everybody for listening. Hopefully this gets you pumped up for a lot of us, what's going to be the upcoming whitetail season. Not you, Maggie. You're done. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, happy hunting and shooting. We'll catch you on the next one. Maggie, cheers.
Cheers, Marco.